I've done the letters and the numbers, I have failed to do a video exclusively on the alphabet and the numbers. So let me do that here. So A, B, C, D, E, covers up your thumb. Don't go like this or like this. Try to touch your thumb. F, G, H, I, J, K. You just have this down and your thumb kind of holds on to it. L, M, the 3 over it. Remember, my fingers kind of weird. M, N. You don't do it too tightly because you want to go to the next letter. O, P is an upside down K. K hand shape makes a P. Q, it is an upside down G. Remember we did G like this? This is Q. R, don't do it too tightly because you're not going to have time to go to the next letter. R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Very easy. As you start spelling things, as you've already seen me do, I shorten the E's, you know, like E, I, L, E, E, N. Because you have a double E, and plus it's usually a shorter way of doing it when it's in the middle of a word. But when it's the beginning of a word, it's always a complete E. Then numbers, I've already done that too about counting and whatnot. We're just going to do it straight instead of worrying about that. Because a lot of those rules, people aren't going to say, oh, that's wrong or whatever. They would do that for maybe an interpreter, but they're not going to do that for someone who's having a conversation. Because sometimes the deaf don't know all the different rules either, because it depends on how they were educated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Remember I said you could do 16 or 10, 6. I do 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then you can go on the whole way numbers. What's really fun about doing numbers on one hand is you could do like a volleyball game or a baseball game, and you can keep score. This team is this hand and that team is this hand, and you can keep score all on one hand, and you've got it going on. I was always scorekeeper for volleyball, so because I could do it on one on each hand, and I always knew who scored what. So anyway, so that's kind of fun. And I already showed you a lot of these numbers, but I just wanted to have a video exclusively for the alphabet and for numbers. So remember, and so you can just go on and on and on with the numbers. And then you do 1C, 100, 200, 300, 400. So a C is 100, that's Roman numerals. When you get to 1,000, 1,000, it's just in your hand, 1,000, 2,000. You go all the way up until you get to a million. And so a million would be 2. So this is 1 is 1,000, and then if you did it twice, it would be a million, like $2 million. And then if it's a billion, it goes 3, $5 billion. Now, sometimes people don't remember that, or you want to emphasize if it's a million or a billion or whatever. So then a lot of people will do like 5 million, MIL, mil, and billions. Um, you could spell it if you wanted to or whatever, but that is how it's done in the hand. But a lot of people will. I've seen interpreters even do like 2 million. I've always done this, but I've always done or $1 million. But they'll even do an M for a million and then a B. But that's already, it's kind of an open B or bent B. It's already for a billion, $1 billion. I always do like, three, and I might do billion and then $1 billion. Billion, so you can emphasize how much money or how many of those things. 2 billion, you saw that 3 billion people or whatever. But this is easier to do that. So 100, so this is 100, the Roman numeral number for 100, and then 1,000, and then million is twice, and then billion is 3 times. And for anybody else to go above that, I don't know, bazillion or whatever. So you can do that. When you finger spell, like I showed you before, let's backtrack to finger spelling. Like I don't bounce double letters. If it's, I try not to because it's E-I-L-E. You just slide it. Slide it. There's very few letters that you feel like you have to do it again, like a P. I'm not going to bounce the P, but I may do PP, right? But as I slide it, I'll just open it and close this part of the P for the K, right? Or little. I don't little. It's too, but when you can't hear it and you're just watching it, it becomes too much. So you would just do little. L-I-T-T, you just slide it, L-E. So those are when you have a double letter, you just slide it. And like I showed you, like on the P, you would do P-P, right? But, and there might be some other letters that I can't think of right away, but that you might want to open and close it instead of just sliding it. But those, you don't really bounce. When you first learn, you have a tendency to bounce your letters. You don't want to do E-I-L. See how that is? If you didn't know my name, you'd go, what in the world is she saying? So you don't want to bounce it. You want it smooth, and you have it in as close a space as you possibly can. And so if I do my last name, so my first name, Eileen, E-I-L-E-E-N, and then Schubert, the same thing. If I'm spelling a phrase, sometimes I will move it like do it. I moved it over as if I was writing it. But you could technically, but anytime there's a space in between a word, you just, if I said do and then it, see, I moved over just a tad. Give that little space. If you were writing it, you would have a space. But you can do all the word, the whole entire word in one space, like do it, and I move over. Instead of doing do it. I mean, that's a lot. I've seen people in the elementary schools do that, and I think it helps with the spacing for children. But just in regular writing, you don't want to really do that. It becomes too much of a space. Moving your head or your eyes is way too much. You want everything as concentrated on finger spelling as possible. And I always point to the word. If I want to emphasize that word, I point to, like, if it's a brand like Heinz, and they're concentrating on that brand, that company, I always point to that because it's like you need to pay attention to what I just spelled, because that's what now the whole presentation is about, or the discussion is about, is that word, because it won't have a sign. It's just going to be finger spelled. So anyway, this is just a short little video, but I did want to have it exclusively for the alphabet and for the numbers. So anyway, practice and enjoy it and have fun. I will see you later. Bye.